What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full slate of college basketball action here on Wednesday, February 18th. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under on each game. We're going to break down the biggest college basketball games of the night. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock. So as a huge thank you to me, take that just that tiny tenth of a second and slam that like button. It really helps get these videos promoted out there on YouTube. It is a huge part of, showing growth and, health on the channel in general, and keeps me motivated to grind out a video every single night. So definitely take that second and click the thumbs up button. And while you're doing that, check below and see if you're subscribed to the channel. Being subscribed to the channel is absolutely free. It keeps you from missing out on these videos that I'm posting every single day. You can hit that little bell icon and you should get a notification every time I post a new video. So definitely become a subscriber, guys. We're on the road to 100,000 subs this year. Let's see if we can make that happen. We've been getting a huge influx of new subscribers here recently, so really appreciate every single one of you. Also, make sure you get down there in the comments, especially if you're a new subscriber. I at least read, if not read, and respond to every single comment I get. I can answer your questions about any plays you're looking at today. If it's a question about something I know nothing about, I can reach out to the premium handicappers over there at stumpthespread.com and see what their opinion is on it. So definitely make sure you're getting down there in the comments, and also check the pinned comment. That's where you'll find my favorite picks every single day. That's the top comment below the video. That's where you'll find my massive lock of the day. That's where you'll find my dog of the day. And that's also a fantastic spot where you'll find a link to stumpthespread.com so you can get over there and check out everything they offer, all the free stuff, all the premium stuff. It's a great time to get over there and get in the mix. Guys, in terms of our results, in terms of a recap for yesterday, it was a pretty decent, it's shaping up to be a pretty decent Tuesday. I guess we don't really know yet. We got off to a great start with Michigan, minus 1.5. It was a comfortable 91-80 win there over number 7 Purdue. It appears Michigan is just on a different tier than the Boilermakers, and with a huge statement win like that, the sky is the limit this season for the Wolverines. We also cashed Miami of Ohio, minus 2.5. The Redhawks continue to look like one of the best non-power conference teams in the nation. They take care of business and get the 86-77 win over UMass. The Redhawks, man, this Miami of Ohio team, they continue to show they are by far the best team in the MAC and could be kind of scary once tournament time rolls around. Unfortunately, Wisconsin does look like they're going to let us down. Yeah, I'm willing to put this on the board as a loss. Really disappointing game from them on the road. Technically, it's not over yet, but I'm ready to call it. Pretty weak stuff. They make it into the top 25 and then just get slapped by Ohio State. Pretty weird. We still have Nebraska plus 1.5. That's live here at time of recording. Right now, they are up 43-41 with 11:59 left in the second half. So a long way still to go on that one. We'll be keeping an eye on that game on the second monitor. Unfortunately, our dog of the day came up far short. We had UNC plus 7.5. The Tar Heels could not throw it in the ocean going up against NC State. They were fine on the glass, so I really don't think the injuries were the concern here. They just couldn't make a three to save their lives, and that's going to make you lose against pretty much anyone. So that was a little bit disappointing, but we did easily cash Michigan State there on the money line as our massive lock of the day. It was an absolute blowout win for Michigan State. UCLA couldn't get anything going, and the Spartans defense looked dominant. Whether you took our lock of the day here on the money line or against the spread, the lock of the day was a nice win there for you. So guaranteed at least a 3-3 night. Hopefully, if Nebraska can hold on for us there down the stretch against Iowa, we could have a nice little 4-2 day. A nice little bounce back after a bit of a rough showing there yesterday where we only went 2-4. So looks like we're getting back on track in this one. Let's go ahead and dive in here. We got a ton of games to cover. First up, we're looking at the Rutgers Scarlet Knights going on the road to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions. Now, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you've gotten over to stumpthespread.com, and let's dive in. Rutgers comes into this game 10-15 on the season. They're 3-11 in conference play out there in the Big Ten. It has not been an easy year. They are coming off a 68-57 win there over Maryland. So a little something to feel positive about. Maybe they're the best of the teams in that, lower group of like 5 in the conference. Tariq Francis has put up good numbers this year. This is not really an elite team by any other metric. Their rebounding numbers are pretty bad. Their defensive numbers are not great. They're a very ISO heavy team. So their assist numbers and ball movement in general, the offense just does not look that good. So we'll see what they can do here. They're going on the road to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions, who at 11-15 on the season. Also not killing it. They're 2-13 in conference play out there in the Big Ten. They're fresh off of a 11-point loss at Oregon. They did get the crazy 63-60 win over Washington, so I'm sure they feel good about that. But coming off a loss never feels great. This is an extremely weak rebounding team, 513th in the nation in raw rebounding numbers. They're also very bad on the defensive end as well. They've been just outclassed by most of the teams they've played this year. Now, will they be outclassed by Rutgers? Possibly, but the Nittany Lions are playing at home. That should help somewhat. They're 3.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 149.5 in this game. Rutgers, they're 3-4 against the spread on the road, 14-11 to the over. Penn State, 6-8 against spread at home, 15-11 to the over themselves. Two pretty bad teams that don't play defense. I do think we have to consider over 149.5 in this game. If you're begging me for a side, I will go ahead and side with Penn State. It's a letdown spot for Rutgers coming off that win, but will anything from this game go in the pinned comment? Seems a bit unlikely. Rolling right along, we're looking at the Butler Bulldogs heading to Georgetown to take on the Hoyas. Butler, they're 13-13 on the season. They're 4-11 in Big East play this year. It's been a bit of a rough road. Recently, they've dropped 6 straight, which, I mean, the last two, losing to UConn, losing to Seton Hall, okay. Getting blown out by Marquette, though, is not a good look. Losing to Georgetown in their first matchup this season, 77-64, and that was a home game for Butler. Also not a great look. We've been talking all season long about how Finley Bizjack is a decent leading scorer. Cool. This is also a legitimate rebounding team, but their defensive numbers are very suspect, and when you're just trying to outscore opponents, it can get a little bit rough. So we'll see what they're able to do here on the road this time against Georgetown. The Hoyas are actually 5-9 in conference play, so not world beaters necessarily, but they did just go on a 4-game winning streak in conference play. That streak got snapped with a 7-point loss against Villanova and a very, very competitive 4-point loss there at number 6 UConn. This team has been significantly improved, in my opinion. Their rebounding numbers are respectable. They're not a terrible defensive team either. We've seen this year from KJ Lewis. He's put up very good numbers. His 26 was a big reason that we did see them keep this game kind of competitive. But really, I mean, this is a good team. I think Georgetown is pretty solid. Now, my question is here: are they 6.5-point solid? Because they're 6.5-point favorites at home in this one. We've got a total of 145.5. Butler, they're 3-5 against the spread on the road, 13-12-1 to the over. Georgetown is only 3-10 against the spread playing at home. They're 13-11 to the over. We see Georgetown has Seton Hall on deck, and in their previous matchup, Georgetown dominated this game, thanks in large part to a very dominant shooting performance. They shoot 50% from 3 and 55% from the field. Pretty even stuff on the boards. Well, actually, Butler had a nice little edge there on the boards. We'll see what happens in this one. This is not going to be a pinned comment play once again, although I do think the over is legitimate lean. I'm going to take Butler getting the 6.5 points. It's a lot of points. They've shown some fight here. I think Georgetown could be in for a little bit of a letdown, even though I think they're the better team. And in a revenge spot here, I'll give Butler a little bit of love. Staying out in the Big East, guys, we've got the 13-13 Creighton Blue Jays going on the road to take on the UConn Huskies, the number 5 UConn Huskies. Now, Creighton, they're 8-7 in conference play. They brought things back a little bit, but their last 6 have looked bleak. They're 1-5 over their last 6, including an 85-58 blowout loss there against the Huskies. That was tough. They do have St. John's on deck, but I don't think Creighton's looking ahead past this game. The Blue Jays have been just so much worse this year. I mean, they don't have a legitimate leading scorer. They're 200th in the nation total offense. They're not good on the boards, and they're not particularly good defensively either. They're coming off a 11-point loss against Villanova. Things are not looking up for Creighton here as they go on the road to take on UConn. The Huskies have been great, 14-1 in conference play, 24-2 overall, 5th in the nation right now. They did lose their last huge game, losing there at St. John's, 81-72. We were on St. John's in that one. Madison Square Garden counts as a home game for me in that respect. And yeah, we definitely saw UConn struggle a lot there. They're coming off a 4-point win over Georgetown, a very, very competitive game. This UConn team is good defensively, don't get me wrong. Giving up 65.2 points per game is elite. They're not a great offensive team, though. They're also not really the kind of squad that's going to just crush you on the boards. So we'll see what they can do in this one. The odds makers are very high on UConn. They are 15.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 142.5. Creighton, 3-5-1 against the spread on the road, 14-12 to the under. UConn, 3-11 against the spread this year at home, 14-12 to the over. I got to take all these points. I don't love backing Creighton at all this season. They've been pretty mediocre, but UConn's played so many close games. It is a revenge spot here for the Blue Jays after getting blown out in this matchup earlier this season. And in that game, we saw UConn just shoot the freaking lights out to an insane degree. They did also crush Creighton on the board, so that's more of a concern, but I feel like the Blue Jays keep this one at least kind of attached. Guys, before we hop in and break down one of the biggest games of the night, the number 20 Arkansas Razorbacks taking on the number 25 Alabama Crimson Tide, we got to shout out the sponsor today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Guys, click the link in the description or the link that's in the pinned comment, or just type stumpthespread.com into your browser of choice to get over there, and that's where you'll find the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, guys, we are offering those premium picks at a discounted rate because college basketball is the only major sport going on right now, because NHL, which is on an insanely hot streak going into the Olympics break, is on the Olympics break, and NBA has been on the All-Star break, which is about to end. Their games are going to resume here on Thursday. So that's basically over, but now is a great time to jump in and get a discounted rate over there at Stump the Spread. You definitely want to be taking advantage of that where you can. Now, we've had a little bit of a mixed bag. We definitely had a letdown of a day there on the 16th. Already cashed Central Florida as a 1-unit play today here on the 17th, so we'll definitely take that. Nebraska's drawing very, very live there as a pick'em play. Oregon -3, I don't even believe that game is tipped off yet, and UT Martin is putting in some good work. So we'll see how that works out, see if we can get a nice little bounce back there for the premium members. But guys, sign up now so you're in the mix for when NBA comes back on Thursday and when hockey comes back. I'm actually not exactly sure when NHL comes back, but also MLB season, guys. Baseball, our favorite season of the year, is right around the corner. So definitely want to get in the mix as a premium member over there at stumpthespread.com. But also, you got to check out all the free stuff. Oh, also keep in mind, these the premium picks very rarely are going to match what you see from me here in the videos, as we have a team of premium handicappers over there at stumpthespread.com that are putting in a crazy amount of work on those premium picks. But definitely get over there and get on the free stuff as well. There are free picks every single day under the free picks tab. I believe the free pick on Texas cashed here on the 17th. So that was some great value there for just people to visit the site and click on that free picks tab. You also got to get on that free email newsletter. It's just packed full of incredible sports betting information, guys. Cashed a ton of massive golf plays over this weekend as well. It has been, I mean, you gotta play those golf plays. Honestly, it's been nuts. Even if you're just doing a tiny sprinkle there on the side, that could get you a whole day's worth of units, because they've cashed some big underdog plays. You can see them all on the screen right now. So that's been over the last, I don't know, 4 weeks or something like that since the PGA Tour has started. Also, NASCAR stuff is covered in there, and all the normal sports are covered as well, guys. It's not just in these sports like golf, tennis, NASCAR, stuff like that. It's college basketball, it's NBA, it's NHL, and big MLB write-ups are going to be coming out before you know it to get you ready for baseball season. So make sure you're getting over to stumpthespread.com and signing up for that free email newsletter. It's very easy to do that. All they ask you for is your name and your email address. That's it. And that'll set you up a free account, and you'll get one email straight to your inbox every single day, just packed with that great sports betting information. So definitely make sure you take advantage of that. Also, get over to stumpthespread.com if you're looking to pick up a Stump the Spread hoodie. We're selling them right now at cost. That's $39.99, and that includes free shipping. It can be to your house in as little as 7 days. So if you're looking to pick up a hoodie, I highly recommend visiting the shop tab at stumpthespread.com. Also, if you're a massive fan of what you see from me here every single solitary day, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to every single one of my videos. They get their name up on screen in every single one of my videos. But maybe most importantly, they get access to our members only giveaways. We're up to 120 plus members, so we're doing 2 giveaways every single week. We just did one on Monday. We're going to do another one on Thursday. So get ready for that giveaway that's going to happen in the Thursday video. Put the name of every single channel member on a big wheel. We spin it live on the video. Whoever it lands on gets a Stump to Spread hoodie of their size mailed straight to their address of choice. Love doing those giveaways. Huge shout out to all my YouTube channel members. Everybody, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're getting over to stumpthespread.com. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel for sure. And now let's dive back in. Let's break down one of the biggest games of the night. We get the number 20 Arkansas Razorbacks going on the road to taking the number 25 Alabama Crimson Tide. Arkansas comes into this game ranked number 20 in the nation. They're 19-6 overall. They've won 3 straight games, back-to-back road wins there over Mississippi State and LSU, and both those were blowouts. Then a very convincing 88-75 win over Auburn. So avoided the look-ahead spot here. This team's going to have probably going to have the best player on the court here in Darius Acuff. He's been a monster this season. They're 13th in the nation total offense. Their rebounding numbers are very, very good. This team can kind of semi-hang around in the first half and then go nuts in the second half. That's what they did against Auburn. That was a dominant showing. We'll see what they can do here against Alabama. It is going to be the first time these two teams have faced each other this season, I believe, unless I'm forgetting something. Obviously, Arkansas has been amazing this year, 9-3 in SEC play. So we'll see what they can do on the road here against an Alabama team that was highly touted coming into the season. They've been in and out of the top 25. They're only 8-4 in SEC play. They have won 4 straight games, taking down Texas A&M, taking down Auburn, and a real nail-biter, getting the win at Ole Miss. And then the last time was an 89-75 win over South Carolina, which South Carolina has been the worst team in the conference this season. LeBaron Philon Jr. could be, could have a reasonable case to be made as one of the best players in the nation. 22 points per game, 5 assists, and shooting 50% from the field. You don't see that every day. Alabama really gets after it. They get up and down. They're 5th in the nation total offense. They're also giving up 82.7 points per game. So not a crazy amount of defense happening. Their rebounding numbers look good, but you have to take that with a little grain of salt because of their crazy pace of play. Now, Alabama comes in this game 4.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 181.5. Arkansas 4-3 against the spread on the road, 13-12 to the under. Alabama 4-8 against the spread at home, 12-11-1 to the over. This should be a crazy game, going to be very, very exciting to watch. I will be back in the Arkansas Razorbacks getting those 4.5 points. I think it's just a little bit too much here. I think they're the better team straight up. So if you wanted to take them on the money line, I actually have no problem with that. Home court can mean a lot, and in this environment, I do think Alabama is going to get the benefit of some boost from the crowd and maybe even some extra free throw attempts from the officials. But I still think Arkansas is just too much better, and they've been good on the road. So give me the Razorbacks in this one. Next up, we're headed to the A10. We've got the Dayton Flyers going on the road to take the George Mason Patriots. Now, Dayton, they're 16-9 on the season. They're 7-5 in conference play. They're coming off a win over Davidson. They took them down 70-59, so a pretty good showing. We'll see what they can do here on the road against George Mason, a team they have not faced yet this season. I don't believe they have faced George Mason. They faced George Washington and got the win there. Dayton obviously having a down season. They're around 400th in the nation total rebounding. Their defensive numbers are okay. Their offensive numbers are not off the charts. Javon Bennett is a good leading scorer, but it has not really added up to enough to keep them, even attached to the teams at the top of the conference like St. Louis and VCU. They're also, a full, game and a half behind George Mason. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Patriots, who come into this game 21-5 overall. They have dropped back-to-back games. Now, they were both on the road, going to Richmond and losing by 12, and going to George Washington and losing that game 72-53. This is clearly a pretty big bounce-back spot for this team. Now, they're not exactly dominant on the glass either. They are a much, much better defensive team. We do like Corey Mincy. He's a good leading scorer. Jahari Long is also a solid point guard. So there are some pieces that we do like here for the George Mason Patriots. Will that be enough to get them over the top here? I mean, they are playing at home, which is nice. They're 2-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 137.5. Dayton is only 2-6 against the spread on the road this year. They're 15-10 to the under. George Mason is 9-6 against the spread at home, 13-12 to the under themselves. I'm not going to take under 137.5. That seems just like too few points, but I do think George Mason is in a good spot playing at home in this one to knock off Dayton. This is a season where a lot of teams are trying to, be able to get their get back against Dayton for dominating them in seasons past. The Flyers just aren't as good. I like George Mason in this spot quite a bit. Next up, guys, we got a showdown in the American. We've got the UAB Blazers going on the road to take on the Temple Owls. Now, UAB 16-10 on the season, 7-6 in conference play, a down season for UAB as well. They're coming off a crazy 55-54 loss against Tulane. What a rock fight that game was. They had won 2 in a row before that, taking down Rice and Tulsa, but we just have not seen UAB look like themselves this year. They do still get up and down the court. They're 20th in the nation total rebounding, so that looks great. Chance Westry is a very, very solid leading scorer and a very good point guard option, but they've just kind of struggled to get those big wins. I mean, I guess they are 1-1 against USF this season, but it has not been a great season for the Blazers. We'll see what they can do here on the road against Temple. The Owls are 7-5 in conference play in the American. They're coming off back-to-back losses, losing at Tulane and losing against Northern Texas. Both those games were fairly competitive. I guess the loss at Tulane wasn't great, but we'll see what they can do. They did have that 1-point win over USF, and that was a home game, and they are at home for this one, so we'll see. We'll see what they can do here against the Blazers. I don't believe they've played UAB yet this season. It does not appear that they have, so we'll see what goes on here. Darian Ford will probably be the best player on the floor in this game, 19 points per game. Only shooting 42% from the field, though, so that's a little bit iffy. This is not a great rebounding team at all. They're 256 in the nation total offense, so the pace that UAB could put on them in this game might be a little bit troublesome. Temple, they're 1.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 146.5. UAB is 5-4 against the spread on the road this season, 15-10 to the under. Temple, they're 6-6 against the spread at home themselves. They're 12-12 to the over/under. No really on the total in this game, guys, but I do think we probably have to back UAB, despite the fact they're on the road in this one. That does worry me a little bit, but Temple just has not been great. It's definitely a bounce-back spot here for UAB. They do have Memphis on deck, so maybe it's also a look-ahead spot. So this one won't be making the pinned comment, but I think the Blazers are the side you want. Rapid fire through these games. We're out in the ACC. We've got the Clemson Tigers going on the road to take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Clemson, they're 10-3 in conference play this season. They are 20-6 overall. They have lost back-to-back games, though. The look-ahead spot there against Virginia Tech, where they end up losing by 10, and then really struggling there at Duke, losing that game 67-54. Now, an awful lot of teams are going to struggle at Duke, guys. I don't think that's a huge indictment of this team. They're very good defensively. They are a decent rebounding team. Their offensive numbers are fine. They don't have a very legit go-to leading scorer, so that does worry me a little bit in this specific matchup, and in most matchups, if I'm being completely honest. But I do think that Clemson is still a pretty reasonable, just squad in general. Now, Wake Forest, they are 13-12 on the season, 4-8 in conference play. They're coming off back-to-back wins. They went into Georgia Tech, got a very comfortable win, and then hosted Stanford and got the 68-63 win. So, well played. Juke Harris is a legit leading scorer. Will probably be the best player on the floor in this game. Will that matter against the Clemson defense? We'll have to wait and see. This Wake Forest team is not very good on the boards, like 370th in the nation, and they don't want to play insanely slow. It just kind of seems to happen to them, and they're not very good defensively either, which is a pretty big concern in this spot. Now, Wake Forest is getting 3 points at home. We've got a total of 138.5. Clemson is 7-1 against the spread playing on the road. They are 16-9 to the under. Wake Forest is 5-10 against the spread at home, 15-10 to the over. I think this is a slam it spot here on Clemson -3. I don't know if this is going to be our lock of the day, but I can guarantee you it'll be in the pinned comment. I also wouldn't be shocked to see this be a premium pick if I'm being honest, but I definitely like the Clemson Tigers here. Despite the fact they're playing on the road, they are just by far the better team. Next up, we're with the Oklahoma Sooners going on the road to take on the Tennessee Volunteers out there in the SEC. Now, Oklahoma, they are 13-12 on the season, but they've won back-to-back games. They went into Vanderbilt, got the crazy 92-91 win. That game was pretty freaking nuts, and they followed it up with a 94-78 win at home over Georgia. I'll be real honest, I did not see that one coming. Really didn't see this turnaround coming for the Sooners, despite the fact they've been, a top 50 offensive team in the nation. Xavier Brown, a very legitimate leading scorer. Nigel Pack is a good point guard. So there is stuff to like about this team. They've lost an awful lot of games, though, guys. They're 3-9 in the SEC. They're going to have to really make some crazy noise down the stretch if they want to find their way into the NCAA tournament. So we'll see if they can do that here. They're headed to Tennessee to take on the Volunteers, who are 8-4 in conference play. 18-7 overall. Tennessee definitely one of those teams that might have got a little overvalued at the beginning of the season, but they've played well down the stretch, winning, 6 of their last 7. The only loss came by 3 points on the road at Kentucky. They've beaten Alabama during this stretch. They've beaten Georgia and Auburn during this stretch. They're coming off a 10-point win over LSU. Jacoby Gillespie, 18.5 points per game and 5.5 assists. Pretty good numbers. This team's 88th in the nation total offense. They are a dominant rebounding and defensive team. They're 7th in the nation total rebounds. They are giving up under 70 points per game. This Tennessee team is legit. Now, we'll have to see what they can do here against Oklahoma, a red-hot Oklahoma team. The odds makers love the Volunteers here. They're 11.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 149.5 in this game. Oklahoma's 3-4 against spread on the road, 13-12 to the over. Tennessee is 6-8 against spread at home, 14-11 to the over. The Volunteers had to go to Vanderbilt after this, so maybe be a little bit of a look-ahead spot here. And that's only, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. That's just part of why I think the red-hot Oklahoma Sooners getting those 11.5 points are the side we want in this one. I think the Sooners have what it takes. Maybe they'll struggle a little bit on the boards, but their offense is just too good. I think they can make life tough for Tennessee and make this a single-digit game, if nothing else. Rolling right along, we are looking at the Maryland Terrapins going on the road, just taking the Northwestern Wildcats out there in the Big Ten. Maryland, not a great year. They won back-to-back games, taking down Minnesota and a crazy one over Iowa. Then they lost 68-57 against Rutgers. That is not great. This team kind of struggles to find, I don't know. I guess Farrell Payne is a legitimate leading scorer, 62% from the field, 17.5 points per game. David Coit is a good scorer as well. That being said, this is a very ISO-heavy team. They're 530-something in the nation total assists. Their defensive numbers are atrocious. We'll see what they can do here against Northwestern. Obviously a terrible team, but I do have concerns about Maryland. Now, the Wildcats, they come into this game 10-16 on the season. They're 2-13 in conference play, so actually one less conference win than Maryland has. They've dropped their last 5 in a row, losing to Washington, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, and Nebraska. That's an insane stretch, guys, by any measure. So we'll see if they got to bounce back in them. Nick Martinelli's put up good numbers all season long. I expect to see him in the NBA draft next year, I would assume. you never know. Maybe he'll stick around. But overall, this team really struggles on the boards. They are not a great defensive team either, but they can score it a little bit. So that is at least something that should help them in this matchup. The odds makers love Northwestern in this spot. The Wildcats are 8.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 141.5. Maryland 4-5 against spread on the road, 15-10 to the over. Northwestern 6-7 against spread at home, 13-12-1 to the over. I do think over is reasonable in this spot. Neither one of these teams are very good defensively at all. So I think over 141.5 has a lot of value to it. I definitely like it more than the side. If you're begging me for a play on the side in this one, I think we see a bounce back from Maryland and they make this a really close game, but much, much better than the side, guys. I really like over 141.5. Back to the Big East we go for this one, guys. We've got the DePaul Blue Demons going on the road to take on the Seton Hall Pirates. Now, DePaul comes in this game 13-12 overall, but 5-9 in conference play. Definitely a program that's taken maybe not a massive step, but some amount of a step forward this season. They're coming off a very narrow 1-point win there over Creighton. Did really struggle there against Providence in the game before that. Kept things very interesting there for a bit against St. John's in the game before that. They've got a win over Seton Hall this season. They've played some, kind of competitive games with UConn, so I'll give them a little bit of credit here, but obviously still a lot of work to be done. They don't have a great go-to, get me a bucket guy. They're 326th in the nation total offense. They're not a great rebounding team either, so they really hang their hats on defense. So I have to give them credit there. They did beat Seton Hall earlier this season, so they definitely deserve some credit for that. We'll see what they can do here on the road against the Pirates, who come into this game 18-6 or 18-8 on the season, 8-7 in conference play. They are fresh off of back-to-back wins. They took down Providence, and then a kind of weirdly competitive game there at Butler. We'll see if they can put in some better work in this one in a revenge spot. This Seton Hall team is dominant defensively, giving up only 65 per game. They're a reasonable rebounding team and just not great there offensively. Now, in their loss to DePaul earlier this season, Seton Hall shot 4 of 14 from 3. They also only went 10 of 17 from the free throw line, and DePaul shot 34 free throws in that game. Double the free throws. Also, DePaul shot the ball pretty well in that one. So definitely a huge bounce back spot here for Seton Hall. They're 8.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 130.5. DePaul 6-2 against spread on the road, 16-9 to the under. Seton Hall 6-8 against spread at home, 16-10 to the under. This is a tough one. I do like Seton Hall in this revenge spot, but I don't know if I can really justify taking them to win by almost 10. I think under is reasonable in this game as well. So give me DePaul getting 8.5 points as a very, very small lean. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out and if DePaul can really hang with Seton Hall in this matchup if they're not getting the benefit of a very, very generous whistle. Cruising through these games, we're looking at the Utah Utes heading to West Virginia to take on the Mountaineers. Utah, they are 9-16 on the season. They're 1-11 in Big 12 play. So it has not been an easy road. They are coming off a very, very close road loss there against Cincinnati, losing that one by only 4. They kept things vaguely competitive there against Houston. Did struggle a bit against Kansas. They just, have had a lot of struggles. They've beaten TCU. But other than that, no wins here in conference play. A lot of close games, though. Terrence Brown is a monster leading scorer, 20 points per game, 4 assists, 45% from the field. This is a squad that can definitely get up and down a little bit. The defensive numbers aren't great. The rebounding numbers also are a little bit troublesome, but they just went up against a pretty monster physical team there in Cincinnati, and they actually out-rebounded them by 10. So hats off to the Utes for that performance. We'll see what they can do here on the road against West Virginia. The Mountaineers are 16-9 on the season. They're 7-5 in conference play. They've been kind of alternating wins and losses here for the last couple of weeks. They are coming off a nice road win there over UCF, so a 74-67 win in that situation is definitely not a bad look. We'll see if they can carry any of that momentum over to this one. Honor Huff is a good leading scorer, but once again this season, guys, we see the Mountaineers hanging their hats on defense. They're giving up only 63.8 points per game. They're not a great offensive team, though, in the 350s in total offensive production. So we'll see. They are going to be a very interesting team. We'll see what they can do as they try and battle it out for a tournament bid. Now, West Virginia, they're 10.5-point favorites at home in this game. We've got a total of 130.5. Utah, they are 7-1 against the spread playing on the road this season. They're also 15-10 to the over. West Virginia is 8-7 against spread at home, 16-8-1 to the under. This is not necessarily a huge look-ahead spot for West Virginia. They have TCU on deck. Utah has UCF on deck, so not really a look-ahead spot for either team. That being said, I really like Utah here getting double-digit points against a West Virginia team that doesn't really tend to blow out opponents. They're coming off, a 7-point win at UCF. They lost to Texas Tech. They beat Cincinnati by 5. They lost to Baylor by 10. They beat Kansas State by only 4. I think the Utes have a great chance to be our dog of the day here on Wednesday. Next on the dock, we got one of the biggest games of the night. We got the number 23 BYU Cougars going on the road to taking the number 4 Arizona Wildcats. BYU is 19-6 on the season. They've been making a lot of noise. Not all of it was good noise when they went on that 4-game losing streak, losing by 3 to Arizona. That was a home game for BYU. Obviously, they've got a nice little home court advantage, but losing to Arizona, Kansas, losing to Oklahoma State by 7, and then a 77-66 loss against Houston. I'm not really holding any of that against them. It was a little bit harder than I thought it would be for them to take down Baylor and Colorado over their last 2. We'll see what they can do. These next 2 games are going to be big tests. They go to Arizona, and then they host number 6 Iowa State. So we'll see what AJ DeBansa and company can get done in this one. Obviously, this is a team that's dealt with some injuries. I think they're going to be okay here down the stretch. Saunders, a season-ending torn ACL is not great. All that being said, BYU 20th in the nation total offense. They're a very good rebounding team, and they do play some pretty solid defense. So we'll see if that's enough to give the Arizona Wildcats a bit of a scare. Arizona's now 10-2 in conference play, ranked 4th in the nation after back-to-back losses. They lost at Kansas by 4, and then they had that 3-point loss against Texas Tech. They are at home for this one. They do, however, have Houston on deck, so it is a bit of a look-ahead spot here. That game against Houston is going to be a crazy one. Now, in this game, we're going to need a lot from Braden Burries. He's put up good numbers this year. Got to give him credit. This team has been elite. All the season-long numbers look fantastic. 5th in rebounding, 15th in total offense, so on and so forth. The Wildcats are 12.5-point favorites at home in this game. We've got a total of 164.5. BYU is only 2-4 against the spread on the road, 13-12 to the over. Arizona is 6-7-1 against the spread at home, 13-12 to the over themselves. I don't think I'm going to get involved in the total in this game. That's a pretty big number, though, so I'd maybe lean just a hair towards the under. I do, however, like BYU getting 12.5 points. That's just too many points. This is such a talented roster, even without Saunders. I think they find a way to make this a single-digit game there against Arizona. Do I think they win? No. I think Arizona wins this game the vast majority of the time, maybe all the time, honestly, coming off back-to-back losses, but they only beat BYU by 3 earlier this season. I think we could see this be a 9-point game or something like that, and that's all we need here. Next on the docket, we've got the number 8 Kansas Jayhawks going on the road to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Now, Kansas, they're 19-6 on the season, 9-3 in Big 12 play. They are fresh off a very weak showing there at Iowa State, which, that's a pretty tough place to play. I got to cut them a little bit of slack. They were also in a huge letdown spot after that win over Arizona. Getting Peterson back did not have the effect we thought it would have there against Iowa State. We'll see if he can play a little bit better here against Oklahoma State. This Kansas team is obviously elite, especially at home. They are not at home for this one. They're 64th in the nation, total rebounding. Their defensive numbers look very, very good also. They have not played Oklahoma State yet this year, so we'll see what they can do up against the Cowboys, who are 16-9 on the season, 4-8 in conference play. Despite a non-stellar record in conference play, this program has taken a big step forward this year. They're 30th in the nation total offense, and a lot of that is because they really like to get out and run. They are coming off a loss against TCU, also a loss against Arizona State, and they got obliterated there by Arizona. So we'll see what they can do in a matchup against another elite team. At least we see the Cowboys at home for this one. Anthony Roy's put up good numbers for them this season. We've also, just liked in general what this team has done offensively. Defense is another question, though. Oklahoma State is getting 6.5 points here playing at home. We've got a total of 155.5. Kansas is 4-4 against the spread on the road, 17-8 to the under. Oklahoma State 6-10 against spread at home, 13-12 to the under. Guys, I like Kansas here, despite the fact they're playing on the road quite a bit. I think this is a huge bounce back for basically the entire roster after a very, very rough game their last time out there at Iowa State. Oklahoma State does not play defense like Iowa State does. Give me the Jayhawks here to get a comfortable win and cover on the road. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we are looking at the Virginia Cavaliers, the number 14 Virginia Cavaliers going on the road to take on Georgia Tech. The Cavaliers are 22-3 on the season, 10-2 in conference play out there in the ACC. They're coming off a 70-66 win over Ohio State that now looks a little bit better here today. They did lose to UNC, but they beat Louisville. This has been a good team. We like what DeRitter has put up this season. They're 81st in the nation total offense. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the nation, and they're very good defensively. So we'll see what that can do here on the road against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, who have been bad. They're 2-11 on the season in conference play. They're 11-15 overall. They've lost their last, 7 straight conference games, losing to Notre Dame, Wake Forest, Stanford, Cal, UNC, Virginia Tech, and Clemson. Yikes. They're not a terrible rebounding team, but their defense isn't any good. They don't have a great go-to leading scorer necessarily, although Reeves Jr. hasn't been terrible. I got to give him some credit. They're just not a great offensive team. So the fact they're getting 13.5 points in this one is not a huge surprise. We've got a total of 146.5. Virginia is 4-4 against the spread on the road. They're 16-9 to the under. Georgia Tech is 5-11 against the spread at home. They are 16-10 to the over. This game, it just feels like quite a few points, but I think Virginia's up to the task here. I think they find a way to get the winning cover on the road. They're by such a large margin the better team, so I will lean a bit towards Virginia, but it's too many points for me to put this in the pinned comment. Last but not least here, guys, we've got the number 19 Vanderbilt Commodores going on the road to take on the Missouri Tigers. Now, Vanderbilt, they're 21-4 on the season, 8-4 in SEC play. They're coming off back-to-back wins, getting a road win at Auburn, and then obliterating Texas A&M 82-69. Maybe not obliterating is a little bit strong, but a comfortable win. Tyler Tanner's been a monster this season, 18-19 points, 5 or 6 assists. Very, very good work from him. Tyler Nickel has also been good, 50% from the field and 15 points per game. This team is 14th in the nation total offense. They're giving up 73.5 points per game, which is not amazing, but definitely not terrible. We'll see what they can do in this exact matchup here against the Tigers. We've liked a lot of what we've seen from Mizzou from the season in general. They're only 7-5 in SEC play. They're coming off a kind of blowout loss there at the hands of Texas. Mark Mitchell is a very legitimate leading scorer. This team likes to go out there and get up and down. The defensive numbers and the rebounding numbers, though, are just not quite good enough to put this team anywhere close to the upper echelon, even in the SEC, which hasn't been quite as dominant. We'll see what they can do here at home against Vanderbilt. They're getting 3.5 points. We've got a total of 154.5. Vanderbilt has been a good road team this year. They're 5-3 against the spread away from home, 14-11 to the under. Mizzou, 6-9 against the spread at home, 13-11-1 to the under. I'm not going to get involved in the total in this game. The last time we saw Mizzou play at home, they lost to Texas. Time for that, they beat Mississippi State, but barely. Time for that, they beat Oklahoma by 1. I'm going to lean a bit towards Vanderbilt here on the road. This one could be a fringe pinned comment play. I do think the Commodores are by far the better team. Going into a hostile environment does, sometimes is sometimes a huge problem. But the last time they did, they went to Auburn and got a comfortable win. So give me Vanderbilt here playing on the road. Guys, that's all the games we have here on a very, very busy Wednesday. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and to help get these videos promoted out there. It only takes a tenth of a second, and I really, really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. That does a ton to show me that the channel is growing, and we're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Let's make that happen this year. Get down there in the comments. Ask me any questions you have about today's slate or anything else you want to say about these videos. I'm always down there in the comments all day, every day, so love all the feedback we get there. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description or the link there in the pinned comment to get over to stumpthespread.com. Make sure you get on that free email list, guys. Those golf plays that are going out every single solitary week maybe deserve to be premium content at this point. They've been so good. Don't want to miss out on those or anything else in those free emails or under the free picks tab. And guys, we'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.